What's up guys, Vulkan here, and today we are talking Last Epoch, specifically one of the largest patches to hit the game ever, and that was beta patch 0.7.7, and these patch notes are long. As you can see on the screen, I'm scrolling through and they just keep going and going and going. I'll leave these up on the screen so you can pause it at any point in time if you want to read the full patch notes, but we're going to go through the key updates, and there's also timestamps in the description below. So the first and foremost, the biggest thing are the graphical updates. So this game has often gotten a few different responses. One, is it a mobile game? Two, are the graphics going to get updated because they don't look that great? Three, are the animations going to get updated because they don't look that great? And the answer to all of these is this patch helps. So in this patch, they went through almost every single zone. We're talking campaign, monolith, arena. They implemented a wide variety of changes. They added in new assets, new textures, new particle effects. They overhauled chest visuals. They added more breakable objects with new models, new effects. They greatly enhanced lighting and color grading. They greatly improved performance by rewriting terrain shaders. So you have a whole ton of things that kind of go into this. They also re-rigged the Primalist model, so he is up to date in terms of animations, and it looks fantastic. Now, this is the work of the new animation editor they hired in, and apparently they've been going to absolute work on these. So if that's an indicator of how the other models are going to look in terms of animation, then I think we're in the right direction. Beyond those graphical updates, the interface got some love as well. So you're going to notice a new action bar, new tooltips, new buttons, things like that. In addition to the graphics, they also added in character intros. So there's a story that's kind of talking about your character, how they became what they are, just introducing them to the players. So those are really well done. Kudos to the dev team. Before we move into the gameplay affecting things, the last thing I did want to say is Steam Cloud is now active. So your progression, all that stuff will be housed in Steam Cloud, so you can play on multiple computers, whereas before it was all stored locally. So let's move into the actual gameplay. Why do I want to come back? Right, graphical updates, those are great, but what is really the draw? What in terms of gameplay is going to change for me? Well, there's a couple big things that got added. One, new gear. Right, we have 5 new 3-piece sets. They span across multiple play styles. They look like they're going to perform well, but I have to actually go out and grab them before I can test them out. I will say I have almost the full Void Knight set, and it's a blast to use, especially in like an erasing strike / warpath kind of build, which has been fantastic. But set pieces weren't the only thing that got added. They also added in 10 new uniques that all have some pretty interesting abilities, and I think there's going to be a lot of builds kind of built around them, which is fantastic. It gives us new stuff to chase down in in-game and new things to tinker with. So in addition to this stuff, we also got new skills and new skill tree redesigns and additions. In terms of new skills, the Drain Life skill was added for the Acolyte, which is a channeled skill that deals necrotic damage over time up to 3 enemies, and with the proper node allocation, up to 10 enemies at a target location, and it leeches 30% of damage done as health. Now, this ability I'm actually trying to build an Acolyte around because it's a fantastic and fun skill. Like, I just have an absolute blast with this skill, especially if you have a bunch of minions. So they're out there keeping everything busy, and you're just dropping drain lives, keeping yourself topped off. You can also have it so it affects your minions. It gives you mana back. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do with this. So this is one of my favorite abilities that's in the game currently. Next up, we have the Forge Guard. This has access to Smelter's Wrath. So Smelter's Wrath is a melee attack that is channeled for up to 2 seconds and then deals fire and physical damage in a cone in front of you. Channeling for longer increases the range and the damage. Now, I haven't got a chance to mess with Smelter's Wrath too much because it costs 30 points into Forge Guard, so that's going to be something that I'll have to work up towards, considering all my characters got wiped when I rebuilt my computer. It was very sad, but we're back in it. And also the Void Knight skill Anomaly, which it's been in the game for quite some time, but it actually got redesigned. And Anomaly has been an interesting ability for me. The Void Knight has 2 abilities. One that sends the enemy forward in time. So if they have dots on them, things like that, then it'll make those dots tick quicker. Then you have another ability that sends yourself, the character, back in time. So let's say you get hit and you're down to like 10 health. You can click this skill. It'll take you back 2 seconds to both the position and your mana and your health and all that stuff. And you can move out of the way to dodge it. It's a pretty cool ability. So Anomaly was kind of interesting because it didn't really fit too well in my rotation personally. And it was difficult for me to really justify a slot on my action bar. So they went through and they rebuilt it. It's now a combo ability. That means casting it a second time ends its effect early and can bring that enemy back a little bit sooner. So this is something I think is going to be kind of interesting because it gives you more control over your time-based builds. So if you're someone who wants to rock Anomaly and use the new skill tree that got added with it and create kind of an Anomaly time-based build, then that's something you could do, because now you have another lever that you can pull if you want to bring that enemy back sooner. Then the Acolyte skill Cremate has been removed pending a rework. So in my previous video, we actually talked about a new skill for the Acolyte called Spirit Plague. Now, this skill is still planned out, but they had to delay its addition due to a technical limitation, but it is coming, so don't worry. Now, this skill I'm really excited for because it just sounds badass, a Spirit Plague. Like, that just sounds really cool. I don't know anything about it, but the name, if it lives up to the name hype, then I'm excited. So like I talked about, right, those are the new skills, but we also have new specialization trees that were added to the game as well. So we already talked about Anomaly. This now has a specialization tree. Drain Life has a specialization tree, Smelter's Wrath, but there were a couple that got new trees added or reworked. So one, Atera's Blessing, which is a Primalist skill that heals, now has a specialization tree, which is going to be interesting to see exactly what this all has in it. And then Lightning Blast, which is a mage skill, has had its specialization tree redesigned. Now, Lightning Blast is kind of like chain lightning in a way. You can kind of create it so it forks and goes different directions, which is great. But there's also a couple nodes in there that are interesting. Things like allowing it to double cast or quadruple cast, which can then, those quad and double casts can crit. So a Storm Mage build is now a little bit more viable using Lightning Blast as your bread and butter ability. Now, as you're out blasting, destroying things, hunting for that loot, you're actually going to see some new things out on the maps. And what I mean by that is Last Epoch added shrines to the game. So adding in shrines is pretty much a cornerstone of any action RPG nowadays. And these shrines can come in the form of a Golden Scorpion shrine, which drops higher rarity loot, uniques that will drop off these shrines, gold, affixes, boosts such as movement speed boost, attack speed boost, cast boost. You have some that'll summon other monsters. Ultimately, they're going to affect your gameplay. Now, the cool thing is these shrines can spawn anywhere. They can spawn somewhere super convenient, like right before a boss battle that then gives you a 100% crit chance, or they could spawn out in the middle of nowhere, which then allows you to benefit from only for trash mobs. So one thing to keep in mind is these shrines cannot be farmed. So you can't get a unique shrine and then rezone into the area and just keep hitting this unique shrine over and over and over and over and over again until you have all the uniques. That is something that you cannot do because they will move. Yes, you can zone out and zone back in, and there will be a new shrine placement, but uniques, golden scorpions, gold affixes, those ones are fairly low drop chance. Most of the time you're going to see a movement speed increase or a some sort of stat increase that'll accompany you. Now, there's two things I want to talk about before we wrap this thing up. One, for those of you who were really looking for ambient sounds, those have been added. So yes, if you turn off music, there are actually background nature sounds, things like that, that'll create more of an atmosphere. Lastly is performance. So this patch did touch on performance quite a bit. And since this patch, I haven't noticed hardly any issues in terms of frame rate drops, in terms of overheating graphics cards or fans taking off. Now, I have heard of other individuals where their fans are just kicking up really high, their temperatures are going up, all that stuff. So I'm not saying it's completely eliminated. I'm saying it is in a better spot than it previously was. That wraps up this Last Epoch video, and this patch, like I said, I just want to reiterate, has been a massive patch. There's been a lot of individuals coming back, and if you're someone who wants to jump in and try this game, now's a good time because the game is actually on sale on Steam. So it's usually $35. Right now it's on sale for around $26. It's a 25% off discount. This is part of Steam's daily deal. It says it has about 27 hours left, so I would encourage you to get out there, check it out. I've put the link in the description box below. Now, if you're somebody watching this video in the future and it's not March 31st or April 1st, then I would say it might not be on sale. So, like I said, that wraps this one up, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think so far of Last Epoch? What do you think of the shrines, the graphic updates? Have you tried this game? Is this something that you're interested in? Or do you think this one is one that you guys will skip? Either way, can't wait to hear from you guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.